Welcome to Figure Feedback. My name is Jeremy, and one of my favorite things to 3D print are maps. I can't really seem to get enough of them. And I'm talking about these maps that look like you just went into Google Earth. You got a top-down view. You were able to pull up the geometry of the landscape and the buildings of the area, and then translate that into a 3D file and print it. I've got a few of them up on my wall, and in a previous video, I showed you this really cool project that I found on Maker World where you can basically make your own customizable metropolis using this system that's similar to Gridfinity, and the possibilities are endless. But what if you wanted to print a very specific portion of a map? Maybe it's of your hometown, your neighborhood, your favorite city, or someplace in the world that you visited or you want to visit. Well, you can do that, and I'm going to show you how, because it's this really cool program that I found on Maker World. Let me show you. So this is called Personalized 3D Map by Smoggy 3D, and he has an example of Lower Manhattan here and the Pentagon. But what makes this particularly special is that they built something called Map to Model, and as it says here, it's going to let you convert any area on a map into a 3D printable mesh model, and it's exported in a 3MF format that's fully compatible with an AMS unit, so it does the heavy lifting for you. So let me take you over to Map to Model so you can see what it looks like. So this is Map to Model, and right now we are hanging out above Seattle, Washington in the United States. And you see we got this huge big map here. And the cool thing about stuff like this is when you really get it into a city that has a lot of tall buildings, you can really help to bring out the landscape of it all, and it just looks so much cooler. So even though we're on Seattle now, let's go to New York. So you can just type in where you want to go at the bottom. So we're just going to type this in here, and you see it drops us right here directly on top of City Hall, and you get a whole landscape of New York. And as you zoom out, I mean, it's a map, so you can just keep on going. But here's how you can get like a very specific portion of the map. All right, so let's say I wanted to go into Hell's Kitchen right here, and let's just say I wanted to just get all of this. And they have a few different ways you can do that. You can select from a rectangle, and then you can just simply place the rectangle at the point that you want to start, and then you can just drag it like this, and then you can just let it go wherever you want, and it'll create this right here. And then you'll simply go to Generate Mesh, and it's going to do all the generating for you. And when it's done, here is the selection that I selected right there. So it has all these cool tall buildings here, and then it also goes through the trouble of coloring in some of these detail areas like the greenery right here, and if there's water it'll be blue, and then the black is going to be for the streets. And then over here on the left side they have this topography toggle that you can turn on. So instead of your base being completely flat like that, if there's like a hilly area, if it's something that's more elevated, is going to show you that too. So you can kind of see a little bit how at the corner here, you see how that's just sort of lifted because it has that typography setting on. But if you just want to keep it flat and maybe even save some filament, you can just turn that off. You can select whether you want to have a frame like this around the model. And then some other features that you have here, you can have it select roads, and you can do the colors of the roads if you want to. You can change the water, you can have it cut out the water, you can add a water base, and there's just so many different things that you can do here to just really customize it the way that you want. But just kind of going back to the Hell's Kitchen here, we can move over to say Central Park, this big area right here. So if you want to just really select a very specific area and not rely on, let's say, the circle to do that, and you don't want to rely on the square to do that, you can go to Polygon, and then you can simply put, let's say I want to start here, we're going to move here, we're going to go down to about right there, over to about right here, and then move up to connect this point. And then we got all of Central Park and then also some areas beyond Central Park. So it's going to generate that mesh. And I'm doing this so that you can see the colors that's going to be generated from this for the streets and for the water and for the greenery that is within Central Park. So let this finish up, and then there you go. When this prints, it is going to look just like this. How cool is that? So we got all those roads and all of those buildings. And yes, I did print something out for myself. So I grew up close enough to Chicago, so I decided to drop this pin right here in Chicago and print out this section right here. Here's a 3D preview of it. You see you got Grant Park over there to the right, and then we got the Chicago River right there on the left. And as we get closer, look at that. There's Willis Tower, which will always be Sears Tower in my heart. And I just kept everything at the default settings, and I exported this into Bamboo Studio. So this is what the file looks like after it's been exported, and I dropped it into Bamboo Studio and I printed it out on the Bamboo Lab H2D, and I'm on the A1 profile here. So I'm gonna switch this over to H2D. There we go, a lot more room. So as you can see here, this has 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors. But of course, if you use the Bamboo Lab H2D, you have 5 colors by default if you have the AMS, including with the external spool. So what I did in this case is just went over to the objects part, and then I just went to this little brown part right here. And since these were going to be the only things that were going to be colored brown, I just decided, you know what, forget it, just going to make that green. And that way I am now going down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. And I printed this at a 0.12 layer height. It took about 8 to 8.5 hours. And here's what it looks like. And there we go. Got Chicago and all of its glory. And I just really like that perspective, you know. Got those nice flat lands right there, and you got these super tall buildings. Here's a look at the first layer, in case you are curious. Very, very clean first layer. And like I said, this was done with a 0.12 layer height. So it made it take longer than it normally would. Even like these little tiny dots that you see all the way over here. So it really did take care to nail all of those different aspects of it. But this came out looking absolutely gorgeous. And I love it. Fits right there in the palm of my hand. And of course, if you want, you can make this a lot larger. You can scale it up. You can make it smaller, whatever it is that you want to do. And the result, I think, is pretty nice. So I think something like this will be a nice conversation starter, especially if you have someone over to your home who doesn't really know anything about 3D printing, but they see the scale models sitting there on your table or something like that, and it immediately goes, what is that? Oh, that's downtown whatever. Oh yeah, that's cool. How did you do that? And it just kind of gets the ball rolling. So I will leave a link in the description where you can find this, and then you can go out and print your own. It's a fun time. So that's going to do it for now. If you found this interesting and you want to see more videos like this, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, because I always have more interesting things like this coming down the pipeline, as well as some product showcases and all the other good stuff that has to do with 3D printing. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.